DJI Learn to Win event. What could it be? Got that coming up next. This past Saturday, June 8th, Ron Brown, Marcus Crawford, and myself reviewed what the possibilities could be for what DJI will be releasing on Tuesday, June 11th at the DJI Learn to Win event. Without any further ado, we're going to roll that clip in its entirety. Good evening, everyone. It is Saturday. You're welcome to your very first Saturday night Rotor Talk Live, Season 1, Episode 1. Very first time we've done this here on a Saturday night. You're welcome to your very first Saturday night. I got one of my windows open here. Hang on a second. Okay, let's go ahead and kill that. Okay, I think I should be good now. I think we're better now.
Yeah, I'm not hearing an echo now.
Okay, so good. All right, sorry about that. Okay, just wanted to welcome everybody tonight for a very special edition of Rotor Talk Live. This is our first Saturday. A kind of a teaser for next week. I'm going to have Sally French on, and as you know, the drone girl. I'm going to have her on Saturday. It's going to be at 5 o'clock Eastern time, so you want to stay tuned for that. She had a very tight schedule the month of June. It was the only time that she had available to come on. I'm joined tonight by my esteemed colleagues, Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Ron Brown. Ron will be joining us here shortly. Marcus, how are you this evening?
I'm really good, Bill, and like all of us right now that are fans of DJI, I am just all kind of a Twitter trying to figure that out. And I think we've got a lot of clues, but I'm sure you have a lot more information for us.
Sure thing. Yeah, I kind of do. Now, what's real interesting here is, the first thing that I think we need to look at is the title of this and what this is called. Learn to Win. The whole aspect with learn on there that tells me that this is going to be something that's programmable. That tells me that it's going to probably focus on educational type of an avenue, and it's going to be geared, I think, as I was talking to Valerie earlier today, I think, some preteens and teens, I think it's going to be programmable by them. I think it's going to be something that's going to be done by that. Also wanted to get into some background. DJI's been into robotics for years, and they've held robotics competitions for a long time. And, you've probably seen some of that. I'm going to welcome some of the people to the chat. Anthony Klinger, Chad Van Dyke, Ethan Mitchell, Drone Master, Daddy at 13, Drone Eye. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Dan Dipper, welcome. Thank you for joining here tonight. So, one of the things that I wanted to mention with this is, these robotics competitions have been very big deals, and they form teams of young teens and teens being able to outdo each other in these robotics competitions. Now, this is something I think is, has been feeding this in I'm really interested to see what all is going to come from this. Now, DJI, there was a rumor about a DJI rover, and it was out about a year ago, and I was unable to find any pictures. If anybody finds any pictures of this DJI rover that has been out for a year, please email it to me at BillTheTechnologyReviewer@gmail.com. I haven't been able to find those. But with all that being said, okay, now one of the things that I wanted to get, from Marcus and from Ron tonight, and Ron and I had talked about this earlier today. I spoke with Ron. One of the things, let's look at it. First of all, here's one of the things, and this is one of the questions. Furball Kim, welcome. Ray Bob's Antics, welcome. Chasm, welcome. One of the first things that I wanted to get out of the way with everybody, okay, this is the first question. I'm going to pose it to Marcus, and when Ron comes here, I'm going to pose it to him too, okay? Do you think that this is a drone that DJI is going to be releasing, Marcus? Yes or no?
It's for sure not a drone at this point, and I am basing that, quite frankly, Bill, on some of the videos that I've looked at where people have enhanced the pictures, and you really can kind of see more of what's going on there. So I think we're kind of, I think we kind of know maybe what it is, but we don't know the details of, like, as you said, is it something that's geared towards an educational product for, say, grade school or teenage, or preteen kids, or could it be a camera platform that is a ground-based camera platform? And let me start back again, an automated ground-based camera platform. In other words, something that you could set up, say, if you're filming something that would follow you around and keep you in the center of the screen, possibly. But I'm kind of leaning to what you're saying, Bill, that it's, when they said learn, it's probably something education based.
Well, and you looked at some of the close-ups, and I know, a lot of us have gone over and looked at a lot of those videos, and you saw pin connectors, and, being able to move those pin connectors around will do different things. And Mel's in the chat. Welcome, Mel, tonight. And, he's saying, and I agree with you. This is not a drone. It's going to be a ground-based vehicle, and it's going to have a camera on it. And Ron and I were talking earlier. Ron Brown and I were talking earlier today. He was informing me, I guess Traxxas is the name of the company that makes probably the best radio controlled cars out there today, and, ranging in price, or in the $500 kind of range. But none of their cars, from what Ron believes, have any type of camera system on there. They don't have that. So to have a car out there, or to have a ground-based vehicle with a camera system on it, is going to be it is going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be something that we haven't seen before. And here's Ron. Ron's joining us. Welcome, Ron. How are you tonight?
Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry for being late.
Not a problem. Wanted to ask you and get your input right away here. Are we going to see a drone on Tuesday or not?
By everything I've been reading, which is all rumors, I don't know anybody that works at DJI. I don't have access to any sensitive material. Just from what I read on Facebook and the various places like that, it looks like it's some kind of people say a rover device, which I would assume would be a four-wheel vehicle of some sort. That's my only early indications. Again, that's totally rumor, totally unconfirmed. But I'm thinking, just for the fact that they're not having a live event, that it's probably not going to be a drone. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's exactly. Both Marcus and I are in agreement. We don't think that this is going to be a drone. Especially looking at the video and the different telltale signs. You see the wheel that's in there. You see the connectors that are in there. You never see connectors on a drone like that. I mean, it looks like they're pluggable and that they can be moved around and so forth. That's a big thing. You also see what looks to be like some type of a gear out there, and you never see this on a drone. I mean, these are things that are not readily apparent, and it's not part of that. So, and one of the other things, Ron, that we had just talked about was, thinking, learning a lot from the name of this. Okay. Having the name Learn to Win on here. And Marcus and I had talked about it being, having with a bent towards education and being programmable. What are your thoughts on that?
We talked about this a little bit this afternoon, and I know, the past, we'll say 3-4 years, there's been a lot of, at Christmas time, a lot of I'm going to call them toy robots and things like that kids can program. And I believe that one of the Tele, when it first came up, one of its selling points is programmability. So that could all, play into what's been popular among, again, I can't think of any of the toy products that kids can program, but there's many of them out there, like little robots and little forklift things. Again, I'm sorry I don't have the name of the company that makes these things. But again, the Tele was programmable also by, I don't know if it was I think it was third-party apps. So I don't know if that really caught on. I still see a lot of people doing tele reviews, and none of them talk about their programmability anymore. So I don't know how well that really went over. So if DJI is banking this device on people programming themselves, I don't know if that's the smartest idea. But again, it's all speculation anyways. But what do you guys think?
Hey, so can I
Mark.
jump in, Bill? So I have a question for the two of you, and this is the $6 million question, or maybe it's the $500 question. I don't know, but and we've had these kind of discussions before. Are you ready to push the button the minute they make the announcement?
I'm getting my Staples big red button ready for Tuesday at what time, Bill? Tuesday at 6.
Well, I think it's 6:30, but looking at their timer, it will show at 10:30 tonight. It'll show it'll be exactly 3 days. So it says 10:30 p.m. UTC-4, and looking that up and trying to translate that, I put it into a UTC time calculator. It says it's 6:30, but people tell me UTC-4 means it's already at Eastern time, and it would be 10:30 p.m. our time. But I don't see DJI doing that. So, and now to answer the question, the $6 million, $500 question, the answer is no for me. Okay. Because I'm waiting for something with props on it. All right.
Right.
That's my answer for that. So,
well, I mean, the tough part here is, like everybody wants to, like when the Osmo action came out, people know what an action camera is. They know what to expect. So there's people are ready to buy something like that. Just that they released a new drone, a new Spark, or anything came out this summer, people are ready for a new drone. But it's hard to introduce a totally new product in the marketplace and immediately get people to spend, without even, when you kind of create a whole new category, which, again, I'm not saying they're creating a whole new category, but they are. I mean, right now, does anybody in mass quantity sell anything like a roving device with a camera on right now, Bill?
Yeah, there's the $6 million question. The answer is no on that. So, it's going to present a unique market, so to speak. There's going to be like, I'll call hobbyists, for lack of a better term, or nerds, or drone nerds, or just tech geeks that are going to want to buy this. Okay. And there's going to be, being that it'll probably be geared with an educational pull to it. There's going to be educational institutions that will want to buy this as well. But, I had also tossed around the idea of thinking, is this something that could be used by first responders? Because you've seen, and I don't know the name of the company, and there's a great company out there that makes a lot of these robotic devices that can go out and sniff bombs and, provide a camera view and hostage situations and things like that. Is this something, that you could do this? And one of the other things along these lines, and here's my question for both of you. Do you think that DJI will accessorize this and to have options to be able to, say, add a robotic arm, being able to program that robotic arm and be able to do things with it, say, like, have it go fetch Valerie a cup of coffee in the morning, kind of a thing? What do you guys think about that?
That would be interesting. And if it was something like that, that could be kind of fun to mess around with. The other point, though, is the question about would you hit the button or not. If it was something Tello-esque, in other words, a little educational device, kind of a fun little toy to mess around with, and it was $100, I bet we'd all probably buy it. $100 is one thing. If it's something that's $500, it's going to have to be something that really draws us in and finds our interest. And to Ron's point, if it's a new category, $500 or $1,000 or whatever it could be, it'd be a lot of money. Now, the game changer there would be, like you said, Bill, if it's something that you could find a use for, that you could different attachments, different things. Hey, that could be a game changer that we'd all go, wow, I have to have one of those. And what we know about DJI is they're very innovative, and they tend to come up with things that we didn't know we needed until we see it.
Marcus makes a good point. The pricing, so so important as far as the buy button, hitting the buy button quickly, because, like Marcus so well pointed out, the Tele was an impulse buy. I mean, people just saw the Tele was like $100. People just hit the buy button, impulse buy, or whatever. But that's probably the only product in DJI's line that's an impulse buy. Everything else is probably more of a considered purchase. Bill, I mean, we're just totally guessing, but do you think they're going to price this? Will this device be for, like a Tele, an impulse buy, or will this price be like a, when the Phantom 1 debut, will this debut at the high end?
Yeah, I think we're going to see the high end on this, Ron. It just doesn't scream to me like, for instance, I don't have the Osmo Action in hand, but $349 for the Osmo Action, I thought, even though it was $49 over, that was a steal, to be able to get that for that kind of a price. But, for something like this, and this is just swinging for the fences right here and not having any idea. I'm going to say it's going to start out at maybe $500. And as far as accessories are concerned, we all know how DJI likes to hit us with accessories that are going to cost an arm and a leg, and that's probably going to be the case here. They may lower it maybe a little bit less. It may be $395, it may be $495, but I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere in that kind of ballpark. So I don't think it's going to, your average consumer is not going to take a nibble at this. It's going to be the hardened core tech nerd type of a person that's going to take a look at this, and also too calculating, what can you do with the base as it is. For instance, I'll give you guys an example, and I was talking about this with Ron earlier today, Marcus, is, I talked with Steve, Captain Drone, who has a great channel, and you guys need to check him out if you do. He also does a lot of RC cars, and he started in RC boats as well too. But he mounts his GoPro on top of the RC cars, and it's fantastic when it's going on a smooth track. However, and Ron pointed this out, when you go off track with that, you can have the best image stabilization in the world, and it's gonna make you grab for your barf bag, because it's just going to be so jittery. It's going to be unusable. You can't use that. So, could DJI have developed something, with that rock steady that they got from the Osmo Action, and put this on a camera that would be on this Osmo rover, for lack of a better term, what to call this thing? Could they have done something like that? What do you guys think?
Well, Bill and I did talk. Oh, go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
Well, I just was going to say, I agree. It sure possibly could be. And I think we've got some commenters that are all talking about programming. And I think that that's probably right, that it is going to be something that's programming. And with that camera, no doubt, it's some kind of innovative stabilization. Now, the vehicle itself, for it to be, like those rock hoppers and RC cars that you see some of the guys have, the pictures don't look like that. So I'm not sure about that. But the other point is about DJI and innovation. I never thought I needed this until it came out. I wouldn't have, in a million years, did I think I needed a little pocket camera with a gimbal on it. And then it came out, and man, I had to have it. So who knows? It could be that kind of a game changer.
I mean, Marcus makes a good point there, but really, the Osmo Pocket is really just a smaller version of the Osmos they made a couple years ago that were much bigger. They just miniaturized something that was already a successful product. Where this rover comes out, I mean, they're not miniaturizing something or just slightly changing something. I mean, this is something completely new, because, as Marcus pointed out, there's a big RC market out, RC car market. Now, I have a rock climber. So Marcus, you were trying to say rock climber.
Yeah.
I have a rock climber, and it's a fun little thing. I have RC boats too, but all of them, no matter, again, I know there's some great modders out there, and probably somebody has a great camera mod they did on one of the devices, but without a lot of work, you can't get any good video off these products, no matter what you do. Especially you can't get any live FPV video off these things. If I could get an RC car or boat with a stable FPV signal, like I do looking at my one of my DJI drones, man, now that may get me to get the buy button or whatever. But who knows? I mean, I can't imagine, and I know it doesn't look like an RC car, but I mean, again, these RC cars, they all look the same. Only just because they put for Marcus, just because of a Corvette shell in it, or another one has a 65 Mustang shell in. Is that correct, Marcus?
It was, yeah.
Underneath that shell is still the same exact vehicle. So whether DJI puts a shell in it, makes it look like some kind of futuristic thing, or they let you mod a Corvette shell on top of it. The underneaths are the same in all these RC products. But I just can't imagine where they're going with this outside of create some sort of a moving camera. And you point out programmability. What if this is like the Amazon Alexa that everybody has in their houses now? What if this thing's like an Alexa with wheels and some kind of arms on it? Like one of you guys said earlier, could run around the house and do stuff for you, that it could, respond to your voice like Alexa. That you could say, go answer the door, or go take out the trash. And I know it can't take out the trash, but
change the channel.
Right. What do you think, Bill?
Well, that's this, and Mel brought up in the chat, artificial intelligence, and that may be something to very much be incorporated in something like this. Having a robotic device around the house on the ground to do these type of things. For example, I could tell it, whatever, say, Osmo Rover, go check on the dog. And it will try to go find the dog and send me a video of it. Say like from during the day, it's like one of the things that Valerie and I like to do is we have some house cams and we like to see where the dog is. Well, sometimes she's not in the cam. So what if I could be able to say through an app, say, Osmo Rover, go find the dog, and shoot a video so I could see it, and it'll go over there. And next thing you know, I hear a ding on my phone and I see a video of the dog. Something along those lines. Or here's another possibility. All right. Osmo Rover, take the Mavic Air outside. And it takes, it's big enough where it can actually physically take the drone outside for you. It's just, the possibilities are limitless with something like this. And
yeah, Bill, are you describing an episode of the Jetsons?
Probably.
That was good. Lon Dennard is saying in the chat there that he thinks it's a code teacher, which it could very well be. Just strictly an educational device. That makes a lot of sense. And again, and I don't mean to belabor this point. I don't see this as a real consumer centric type of device. I see it as I see it fitting a niche here. And I think Lon brought up a good point. It may just be for the purpose of educational use, but it could be used around the house for some of these things that we're talking about. Being an Alexis type of device, and to be able to go to do some real simple, basic tasks, and be able to say, go to the front door and look out the window, and so I can, with the camera down there, and gives you a first-person view, or go out to the back door. I want to take a look outside the back door. Just be able to do some things like that. It could do these type of things. So we're on pins and needles until Tuesday. Really.
Real quick, Marcus. I don't have a tell, never had a tell. And I know Marcus had just got a tell, so he may be not the best one for this question, but maybe in the chat room. Has anybody in the chat room ever played with the Tello programming app, which I forget the name of it? I mean, who actually has really invested much time in the Tello programming app? Again, I'm not saying this yes, no, whatever. I just wonder, because I've never had it. But go on, Marcus.
Well, no, he just made a really good point there. But I guess what I was going to agree with Bill is that, there could be a use for a mobile camera. In other words, something that you could say, go look, that I could see where that would be useful. But the other use for a mobile camera to me is when you are filming something that you're doing, okay, let's just say that you're putting together a little cooking video. Your wife wants to show somebody how to prepare this or that. She sets that thing on the counter. It moves back and forth and follows everything she's doing, keeps her in middle of frame. Let's say I'm making a drone video and I want people to see what I'm doing while the drone's flying. If you had an automated camera platform that was keeping you in focus and following you around, I can see a use for that.
Can you imagine the DJI program is sitting around thinking, we're going to make this for drone reviewers so it can help them film the drone is better. I mean, you got a good point, Marcus, but it's just kind of hard to imagine somebody with. I mean, it has many uses, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the one that I thought of. But what if you're at a well.
What if you're at your kid's little league baseball game and you feel like standing there holding the camera the whole time and the little rover running around, and it can even I don't know, can track the ball when your kid hits the home run over the fence or something. I think Bill wants to say something though.
Yeah, Mel sent me a picture, and I'm going to go ahead, and I've been looking for it and I couldn't find it. Mel, thank you so much for sending this. It's real interesting. Now, this is when there were all the leaks about the Mavic 2. Let me see. I'm get this up.
Yeah, that thing in the background there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the pocket right here in front, which is real interesting. Where I have the well, you can't see the cursor, but right in front is the Osmo Pocket laying on its side, and then in back where supposedly was iJustine. That device looks like it's over there. I mean, it looks very similar to what we've seen with the leaks. What do you guys think?
That's it. I guarantee you that's what we're going to see on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But who knows what we're guessing about is the functionality of it.
Yeah.
I've seen that picture. Also, 400 AGL was saying that the Pocket does that now as far as tracking. Yeah, it does that, but it also the tracker is limited. It even when I try and just do a YouTube video, you bend over to pick something up, it loses you, and you have to figure out how to reacquire. So if it was something more sophisticated than that, it could be very useful.
Hey, Bill, remember when the Pocket was first released or whatever? Even before, there was a lot of speculation that the Pocket would fit on another device, and we all thought it may have been a drone. What if the Pocket will fit on this device as its camera?
It could. You could have hit the nail on the head, Ron. I mean, this is exactly what it could, or and I'll take it one step further. Maybe the Osmo Action will be put in there, kind of like a GoPro Karma type of a thing, but only ground based.
I'll take it one step further. What if both do? What if
both do? Yeah, that's there's I mean, and I tell you what, if that's the case, then you will get a lot of people hitting that buy button on Tuesday when this comes out.
This rover would be the ultimate accessory device then, huh?
It'll be,
if this was accessory to your DJI camera, that would give them something GoPro doesn't have. That would blow GoPro out of the water, because as we know, the Osmo Action is sort of like the equal to the GoPro Hero 7. Not really it's downer, where if they added this device to it, that would really send GoPro running for the developer board.
It could be, or we could be just, blowing some smoke and there's an embedded camera in it already. I don't know, but it's kind of fun to speculate about this kind of stuff. It's like, I follow, I have a tech channel as well, and I follow smartphones, and, I follow the iPhone, and I follow, Samsung's phones, and, I kind of know a little bit about them. And my son is a manager of a cell phone kiosk at a Costco, and does quite well with this and has a great knowledge of it. And it kind of helps him as well. And he loves reading about the speculation and thinking what's going to happen. And this is kind of fun too, because, we know something's coming out on Tuesday. We're almost 100% sure of what it is, but its functionality and what it's going to be, wrapped around. I think that's the thing that we're kind of grasping for right now, and to try to be able to figure that out. But I think when we're getting somewhat of a handle on this, and if this is something, again, Ron set up real well. If even if it's not a camera, not friendly for the pocket or for the action, even if it does have a camera in it, it's something that's going to be unique. It's not going to be something that GoPro has. It's not going to be something that anybody else has. I know somebody else had put in the chat, and I wanted to go back up there. And I think it may have been Lon, that Blackstone back in the day had a rover with a camera on it. I wanted to go ahead and mention that. Yeah, Lon said, by the way, Brookstone sold a rover with a camera back in the day. Parrot also dipped their toe in the area as well. That's real interesting, Lon. Thank you for adding that in there. So it's been attempted before, but I'll go back to, and I think you guys will agree with me. When DJI dips their toes in the water, okay, it's something they want to be successful at it. They don't want to come out half baked, and and I hate to use Autel as half baked, but no, and I'm not going to use the Evo. I'm going to use the X-Star Premium because I actually had that. The X-Star Premium was half baked. They had fantastic hardware. Their software left a lot to be desired. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I think you kind of nailed it. And what is striking to me about this whole conversation is that I think everybody has agreed that it's some kind of a ground-based vehicle with a camera on it. Other than that, it's a bunch of completely diverse ideas. You look in the chat, everybody's just guessing, and you got to hand it to DJI to keep us guessing like that. And on top of that, I will agree with what Bill just said. What have you ever seen DJI do that wasn't almost always just a home run? So whatever this is, it's going to be something that we didn't know we needed until we see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bill, is this on the same level as I don't know, my year 2008 when the iPhone came out, and there's a lot of speculation that Apple will release a phone. And there was already smartphones around, but they were all key-based smartphones. You had remember the big keyboards at the bottom of the thing?
Oh, yeah.
Touch. I think like a couple of them had some kind of the styles, but none of them were like a touch-based interface. But anyhow, so Steve Jobs got up at the Apple keynote, January of, I think it was 2008, if I'm off by a year, and he said, today we're going to release a internet connection device. We're going to release a camera, and we're going to release a phone. And he kept saying it over and over again until people realized all three devices were the same thing. Remember that presentation? It's probably the landmark keynote speech of all time.
It really was. It broke, Ron, it broke ground that nobody broke before, okay? When he came out and he said all these things, he just, one of the things, I love looking at a lot of his quotes because his quotes were just like spot on. He may have had tumultuous personal life, but as far as his business knowledge, his business acumen, his feel for the market, his knowing where things are, I don't think there was anyone better than him. He really had he had such an incredible handle on it and knowing what would do it. And I remember, when I got my first iPhone, I did not have to wait long for it, but there were lines, and I mean there were block long lines going in to get iPhones, and the excitement that was generated with this was just off the charts. But you nailed it, Ron. He hit a complete home run. He knocked it out of the park. But people right away kind of like, we're doing one of these right away. But you know what? He changed the world.
Yeah, and to your point, Bill, how DJI enters the market, Apple entered the market the same way. When they entered the smartphone market, they didn't enter at the bottom or the middle, or they just didn't do what everybody's doing. They came in. The first smartphone they ever made was the best one. They entered the smartphone market at the very top of it, and all their things. When they made the watch, the Apple Watch, there were smart watches out, but they came in. And I think almost like the first week they were out, they sold more smartwatches than were ever sold by all the other companies in history combined, like in a short time or whatever. So DJI is the same mentality. They're not going to come in with a middle of the road product. That if they're going to come in, they're going to come in strong. But again, but we're again respectfully. What are they coming? What if we're all?
We're kind of like shooting from the hip on this, but the real good thing, and I'm glad Ron brought this up about about Steve Jobs and about Apple and about technology. I think Frank Wang probably took a lot of this to heart. I think DJI, whether you want to say it or not, is a very Apple friendly company, and I know Rick Smith did a video on how a lot of their code is with their apps are more favored towards iOS devices and Android. And there's a great debate about all that, and I'm not going to get into any of that. But I think he based a lot of his business practices on Steve Jobs and what Apple did, and he's done a great thing with his company in a very short amount of time, because from where DJI was back in 2013 to where they are today, it's phenomenal. In 5-6 years time, they have just gone through the roof in what the technology that they've been able to provide us. And they really do their homework. They really research things, it's so, like I said, the parallels with Apple are just kind of off the charts as far as this was concerned. I'm going to kind of wrap things up here because I think I think we've kind of covered some things. We'll go to Marcus, we'll go to Ron, and then we'll go to myself. Just want to have some of your final and closing thoughts, and then Tuesday night, and I'm hopeful it's at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, but I'll get out an update about that, because I have a tweet out to DJI support to confirm the exact time of the release. We'll be talking about it Tuesday night on Rotor Talk Live, so stay tuned for us. Then we'll be going over it in depth, and we'll take a good look at things. First of all, we'll go to Marcus, and then Ron, and then myself. But what are your closing thoughts here, guys?
Closing thoughts. I guess just what we said, knowing that DJI is really kind of follows the Apple business model, and I suspect that whatever it is it's going to be something that we all want. Now, that's going to, depending on how it's priced, etc., because that's the kind of, you think about their products, what have they come out with that you really didn't know? Man, I'd like to have that. So I suspect that that'll be the case. So it'll be really fun to see what that is. Secondly, I want to put in a shameless plug for ZinoNation on Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Chris, the QC guy, as a guest, Ron Brown, and myself. And we are going to talk about the Zino. There has been new firmware released again, and I just did a test flight of that today, and I'll be posting a video. But along with that, they updated the app, and they added some new features in that. So I'll leave it at that. Ron?
Thank you, Marcus. Thanks for a great teaser. And we'll just give a little, I'll give another teaser to the fans out there on ZinoNation. We will be talking about the little Zino get precision landing. How about that? Also, I want to shout out Sean Matthews over the Drone Seekers, who gave Marcus and I a great shout out on his Saturday. What's that show he calls? New subscriber show. So we got a good shout out there, as well as ZinoNation.
And Bill,
Bill, he shouted you out real good on that his show this morning, or I guess it was yesterday for him. He's so far ahead of us, but you got a nice shout out too, Bill. He thanked you for putting a special Sunday show on so he can make an appearance. So so everybody out there, I know the Drone Seekers have kind of been European centric and whatever, but more and more people in the U.S. are starting drone seeker groups. But back to the topic at hand, the release on Tuesday. I don't want to be a downer now. I'm not trying to burst anybody's bubble, but what if this is some kind of more of an enterprise release device? Well, how when people say, oh, another Rowan camera came out or whatever, this could just be a boring enterprise device that doesn't really interest the basic consumer. I mean, because we're totally speculative. Again, before you get your hand in the buy button, just be careful they don't release an enterprise-centric product. But on that note, I gave you the downer note. Now we're going to send it back to Bill to pump everybody's interest up again.
Well, first of all, there are links in the description for ZinoNation. You want to check them out on Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Ron and Marcus do a fantastic job about the Zino, and you definitely want to check them out. There are some great updates. I know Ron had talked to me about precision landing with the Zinos, so definitely check them out Monday, and definitely check their channels out. Put links in the description for Ron's channel, for Marcus's channel as well. They put out some incredible videos, so if you haven't subscribed to either one of them, please do so. They do a fantastic job with that. For Tuesday, this is what, DJI doesn't do anything half baked or 3/4 of the way. It's something, they're all in. They're all in with both feet with this, and whatever the device is that will happen on Tuesday, it will be done well, and it will have a lot of capabilities on it, and we'll find out on Tuesday. I mean, we'll know that. I mean, we're all fairly certain, it's going to be a ground-based type of rover with a camera on it, but other than that, we don't know. And, it's going to be fun to find out. It's going to be enjoyable. We'll be here Tuesday night to break it down, to take a look at that. We'll look at the specs with you. We'll look at all the functionalities with you, and we'll give you our thoughts on it. As far as I can say. Also want to throw in a shout out about Spin Up 2019. Kelly from Ready Set Drone has announced it officially. You can buy tickets out there. There's a link. I'll make sure I get a link in the description for everybody to do that. Now, through the end of June, you can get tickets at the discounted price. When you go past June, however, they do raise up. I think $25, and I think it will go up another $25 in another month after that. So the early bird gets a good price as far as this is concerned. So, it's an event that I'm looking forward to. Valerie's going to go to it. I'm hopeful of seeing Ron and Marcus there. And a lot of you out there, a lot of our subscribers out there. I think that will be good. So that kind of wraps things up for tonight. I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Get out, if it's nice weather tomorrow, make sure you get out and fly your drone. I also want to give a shout out to Sean Matthews as well from the Drone Seekers. Sean absolutely is fantastic. I think he's a great guy. He comments on every single one of my videos, and it's always a positive, upbeat comment. Sean, thank you so much for that. And I give you a shout out as well, and for the great work that you do, and just promoting the good news about drones. And that's where I kind of want to leave it at tonight. Let's do more drones for good. Question of the day: what do you think DJI will be releasing at the Learn to Win event? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like the content from today's video, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and tell others about the channel. Also, be sure to check out my Facebook page, where I do post daily updates regarding technology and technology industry. Also, be sure to check out my Twitter account, where I do post daily updates, and Instagram as well. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day for technology.